So in Donald Trump's quest to be the worst president of all time, in the wake of this horrific crash between an American Airlines jet and a military helicopter, Donald Trump has taken to the stage, a stage that projects his voice to the entire country and has made it abundantly clear that in the midst of 60 people being dead, in the midst of people grieving and trying to find out where their family members are, his focus is DEI. Donald Trump has blamed DEI for the reason why these people have lost their lives. Don't believe me? Watch.
We must have only the highest standards for those who work in our aviation system. I changed the Obama standards from very mediocre at best to extraordinary. You remember that. We didn't really have that, and we had it. And then when I left office and Biden took over, he changed them back to lower than ever before. I put safety first. Obama, Biden, and the Democrats put policy first. And they put politics at a level that nobody's ever seen, because this was the lowest level. Their policy was horrible, and their politics was even worse.
Isn't it unbelievable that Donald Trump, it's not unbelievable, let's not even pretend. Isn't it predictable that Donald Trump, after all these people have died, has taken to the stage and made it's all about me. How can I talk how great I was? I was so great. I was so amazing. 60 dead, but that's not important. It's all about me. That's the kind of person we're dealing with, a demon. We're dealing with a piece of. And despite the fact that Donald Trump is bankrupt, not just financially, not just business-wise, not in terms of his business skill, but in terms of character, Donald Trump is bankrupt in character. And despite this clear and concise and obvious fact that all can see, Trump supporters continue with Joe Rogan at the helm, bald just like me, fucking what all the steroids he's on, front of the ship, chest out, flag up, Trump flag, not American flag, claiming that the media is so unfair to Donald Trump. I don't understand. This is the same guy, by the way, who just for endorsing RFK got cussed out by Trump on Twitter. Donald Trump is the biggest baby ever. Donald Trump just, he's yet to grow up. Donald Trump just won't grow up. No matter how many people die, no matter how many people go down, it doesn't matter. The focus is me. It's all me. It's demonic. It's demonic. You would think the president would come up and say, I'm working with the families. I'm trying to figure out how to take care of these people since there was a federal aircraft involved. I'm looking to see what I can do. I'm trying to get in contact with this person. Oh, no. It's all about Biden, DEI, Obama, and the Democrats. Donald Trump, despite the fact that he is the reason why politics is as vitriolic, as vindictive, and as revenge-filled as it is today, despite being the source, has convinced almost half of the country, because it's not just his supporters who think he's never wrong. It's also average Americans who just think, I don't know, maybe it is a witch hunt. You know, he does act different from every other politician and is the biggest asshole and says the craziest things and is the most divisive, but maybe they are unfair. Should he be treated differently for all the insane shit he does that no one else does? I don't know. That's where we are as a nation right now. And you want to know the fun part? Here's the fun part, guys. This won't do anything. If you think this moment is going to harm Trump, no. Joe Rogan, Dave Smith, Dave Rubin, who's supposed to have deleted his YouTube channel because Joe Biden didn't die before he, resigned from the office. Just the entire cacophony of cocksuckers on the right wing, they're not going to come out and come after Trump for what he just said. Now, imagine if Joe Biden had just said what Donald Trump said. Imagine if this happened under Joe Biden's watch and he stuttered about, the Trump and his MAGA and Kamala, she told me. And then if Biden got up there and did that, do you know how quickly the so-called warriors for democracy on MSNBC and CNN would come on the internet? Joe Biden's vindictive, evil, demonic rant. They'd immediately jump on it. Notice how no one on the right wing wants to talk about what Trump just did. They're all kind of like, Tootsie slide. They just slide. What is it? Right foot up, left foot slide. They're not trying to talk about this shit. It's all on purpose. We are held to every standard, and Trump is held to no standard. I am tired of Democrats trying to play civility politics. I'm winded. I'm tired. I'm frustrated. It's sickening. I don't want to do this shit anymore. It's weird. It's loser mentality. This is how losers play. Okay, I'm trying to get to the next level. I'm trying to level up. We got to go above and beyond. And instead of getting above and beyond, we're getting lackluster weakness. This man got on stage and sat there and said DEI is the reason why basically why it happened. But I'll tell you, here's a funny thing Trump won't talk about. See, Donald Trump blames Joe Biden for not being effective enough as a leader. But come to find out, Donald Trump actually gutted aviation safety days before this accident happened. So here we have Donald Trump, a man who has been gutting every single check and balance in our government today, whether it's checks and balances that oversee him, such as inspector generals, or just anything that's not made in his image. He wants it gone. Donald Trump did this. Let's check it out together, shall we? Donald Trump fires heads of TSA, Coast Guard, and guts key aviation safety advisory committee. Let's see what day this was as a teen, guys. January 21st, 2025. Would you look at that, days before? And would you look at this, a report on the collision right there. See, President Donald Trump moved quickly to remake the Department of Homeland Security Tuesday, firing the heads of Transportation Security Administration and Coast Guard before their team's terms are up, and eliminated all the members of a key aviation security advisory group. Too many blacks, you know? Sometimes you gotta make things white again. Too many women, too many white women, you know? Sometimes you gotta bring in more, you know, you gotta make it a sausage fest. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta remove, you know, I see where they're coming from. You know, sometimes you just you walk in a room and you see too many people of color, just like, ugh, you know? Someone's gonna clip that. Trump's immigration policy changes drew the most attention at DHS, but he is also making changes at the rest of the massive agency. Members of the Aviation Security Advisory Committee received a memo Tuesday saying that the department is eliminating the membership of all advisory committees as part of a commitment to eliminating the misuse of resources and ensuring that DHS activities prioritize our national security. What they mean is trying to figure out how we can skim as much money from these, you know, departments and agencies as possible so we can pocket it ourselves, but whatever. The Aviation Security Committee, which was mandated by Congress after the 1988 Pan Am 103 bombing over Lockerbie, Scotland, will technically continue to exist, but it won't have any members to carry out the work of examining safety issues at airlines and airports. We're turning into a third world country. Before Tuesday, the group included representatives of all the key groups in the industry, including the airlines and major unions, as well as members of a group associated with the victims of the Pan Am 103 bombing. The vast majority of the group's recommendations were adopted over the years. I naively thought, oh, they're not going to do anything in the new administration to put security at risk, aviation security at risk, but now I'm not so sure, said Stephanie Bernstein, whose husband was killed in the bombing and served on the committee. The future of the committee remains unclear because DHS officials didn't respond Tuesday to questions about the move. The memo that announced the termination said that future committee activities will be focused on advancing our critical mission to steal money from the American people, but the group has no members. So these institutions and agencies were obviously put in place to make sure that we had regulations that keeps our society functioning, advanced, and in the 21st century. But Donald Trump, again, and his cacophony of meat suckers and dick riders are more concerned with pocketing money and turning America into some ethno-nationalistic, theocratic shithole. You know, all that hooping and hollering, the Muslims are going to turn us back into the Stone Age. The Muslims, the Browns, the Blacks. And look at them, front and center, main character. Look at these. Oh my God. You could not write a better story. I don't know who's writing Earth right now. I don't know who the writer is, but my nigga, okay? My nigga. After all those years, it's about almost 10 years, bro, to when the radical Islamic terrorists were blowing up everything in Europe, stabbing folk, touching folk, all type of shit. And all the right-wing commentators were screaming about how Western civilization is going to fall at the hands of the Muslims. And I ain't gonna lie, they had us shook for a second. I ain't gonna lie, they was up 10 points. I ain't gonna lie. ISIS was putting in crazy terroristic work. You know what I'm saying? But now look at it. Look at this shit. Trump and friends destroying aviation safety. Why? What are these, bro? It's like, what the fuck are y'all niggas doing? For what? I wake up and I just see chaos and mayhem. And it's like, Trump voters will never give you an answer for this stuff. So it's like, so remember how we were under Biden and there was nothing but stability and peace and quiet? Why is all this chaos happening under Trump? Why is Trump removing people who have never come after him a day in his life? They don't have an answer. Donald Trump and friends are trying to drive us into the Stone Age. Donald Trump and friends are going to bring about one of the darkest, if not probably the darkest era in American history. And I say this, and I've said it once and I'll say it again. Every single political commentator who led us to this point needs to be held accountable, and everybody needs to remember Joe Rogan, Megyn Kelly, Dave Smith, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK, all of these people keep them in mind, because I'm gonna tell you this. The worse Trump gets, the more they're gonna try to absolve themselves of all of this. I'm telling you this personally. I know. As Trump gets worse and worse, a lot of the people we've been afraid of, Tulsi, Kash Patel, I don't know, where are racist people when you need them? Here we got Kash Patel about to be the director of the FBI. Where's the Klan? Where's David Duke? Where's Nick Fuller? Like, where y'all at? Get in there. What the fuck? You got Tulsi, Kash Patel, all of these crazies. Trust me, as this is going to be the worst Trump administration, and that's saying something because all he does is produce bad things. This administration will be far more demonic, hellish, incompetent, and foolish than any other administration in American history combined. Any bad administration, combine them all together, it will pale in comparison to what Trump and friends will deliver. As this gets worse, according to my statistical analysis, the people around Trump are going to start trying to pretend they were never there. They're going to start trying to pretend they had nothing to do with it. And I'm telling you personally, I'm telling you right here, right now, don't let them. Don't let them. They're going to try. They're going to try. Donald Trump himself had a direct hand in weakening aviation security in this country and has the audacity to point the finger at basically black people. Let's just call it what it is. When these people get up on stage and say DEI, what they mean is too many minorities. Every time I look around, too many minorities, tired of this shit. This man can't even be a proper leader. And I want people to keep this in mind. Donald Trump is always the first person to throw stones. He's not the victim. He's always the perpetrator. He is always the one on the attack. He's always the one on the offensive. People get mad at Obama and how he talks about Trump, but it's like Donald Trump was the one who said this nigga was from Africa. Not that being from Africa is a bad thing, but we know what he was trying to do. Donald Trump, look at Megyn Kelly's relationship with Trump now. You would have thought they were booed up. Booed up. You would think they were buddies or something. It wasn't just, it's like almost 10 years to the day. Like almost 10 years to when Bannon and Trump and that entire, all of them tried to destroy her life because she had the audacity to say, yo, your comments about women, is that really reflective of a man who's going to hold the office of the president of the United States? She couldn't even ask a reasonable question without Trump and Bannon and them trying to destroy her. Trust me, anything built from this level of evil will inevitably crumble. I don't know from what, but trust and believe as this gets worse and there's no Joe Biden or Democrats to blame, people like Tulsi and others who have reputations that are somewhat positive, they're going to start slinking back, I promise you. And actually, it's probably going to make things worse because as you take the positive influencers away and replace them with no-name loyalists who are real meat, you think Tulsi's a meat rider? You think she's slurping it up? You think Kash Patel is really twerking on it? You haven't seen anything yet. Once they've been replaced with hopefully white, straight male, loyalists, it's going to be some shit. It's going to go down at that point. It's really going to get ugly. So Donald Trump has decided to blame a tragedy on DEI. Republicans will pretend it did not happen, but keep a log of every insane thing Donald Trump has done. And always start off by saying, here's how you get him. If Joe Biden came on stage and blamed a helicopter crash on MAGA, what would you say? Always take something Trump did and say, what if Joe Biden did this? And watch how they react. Then let them know Trump did it. Let them know Trump did it. And they'll try to twist and contort themselves. But eventually they'll have to admit, damn, Trump does a whole bunch of crazy shit that no one else does. But trust and believe, that won't solve anything. They will continue to double down and double down and double down until everything falls apart. But when it does, as I've said before, there must be a comeuppance. Keep that in mind. If you like the video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. We are in hell.